Like last night, the speech, she made 26 different things that were lies. She lied. We're also
we're going to keep an eye on all of these events happening throughout the day.
Mentioned thank you about 50 times. Did you see the beginning? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, we're looking there live at former President Trump speaking in Las Vegas.
It seems that last night's onslaught of unhinged untruths were a sign of what was to come today. More rambling, lies, and projection that basically writes the SNL skit itself.
Let's bring your husband with us also, right? And we'll bring some of the other people that are with you, because I like the people that are with you. And we'll go to Caracas. Now, she's not having success. I'm having success. I'm doing all electric cars. All electric cars are going to be made in China. And you're not going to have, you literally will not have Michigan. The auto workers are voting for me because I have nothing to do with Project 25.
In the wake of Kamala Harris's historic acceptance speech at the DNC, Trump couldn't wipe the ketchup off his hands fast enough as he dialed into all his favourite go-to places. First starting with Fox, but it seems that if he's not making accordion hands, then like the toddler he is, he has to occupy himself with pushing buttons. So much so that Fox dumped out of the call for more pressing matters. Gutfield's show.
We'll be in the same state, but in quite different parts of the state. But it's possible we will be meeting tomorrow and we'll be discussing it. He said, look, he was treated very unfairly by the Democrats. Yeah. He would have beaten Joe Biden in a Democrat primary. I have no doubt about it. And they made it absolutely impossible for him. They made it that you have to get 60, 70% of the vote just to get in. And you know what? President. In the end, the Democrats did the same thing to Joe Biden. They threw Joe Biden out of the party.
And that's
they
why
did
we
the
saw
same
a different
thing
night
as they
tonight.
did to RFK.
Mr. President, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate that live feedback.
Stay right there. Live edition of Gutfeld is coming up. Thank you so much for joining us from Chicago. It's been a great week.
Good night.
So it was off to Newsmax he went, but today, following on from said late night meltdown, came a midday meltdown before his evening meltdown, in which he'll likely end it all looking like a pretzel again. But before I get to what he said, once again Fox and their more extreme cousin Newsmax both dipped out early, as it seems they were still full on last night's QAnon platter.
We're also
we're going to keep an eye on all of these events happening throughout the day. And I just want to, let's bring our panel back in, and then we'll take a look at some of the polling. We're joined again by Outkick.
Thank you. All right, we're looking there live at former President Trump speaking in Las Vegas. And again, some very smiling people there responding to his no tax on tips plan. Again, saying that is really definitely going to help the hard workers of this country.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to bring in our guest right now for some quick reaction.
And she mentioned thank you about 50 times. Did you see the beginning? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, 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 thank you. I said, what the hell is wrong with her? But then she recovered. She did much better. But she didn't tell anything. She didn't say anything. She talked about her family, how beautiful San Francisco was.
Well, first of all, he loves to say 15 years ago, San Francisco was amazing, which is when Kamala Harris was DA and Gavin Newsom was the mayor of San Francisco. So I'm sure they appreciate the compliment about their work there.
I don't think they've covered a full Trump press conference this week. But okay, if you were to make it past the first part, you'd hear him attack Kamala Harris for supporting a tax on unrealized capital gains, which applies only to individuals with at least $100 million in wealth. So again, really, he's speaking to his actual constituents' best interest, the wealthy.
Rate, and now she's even pushing a tax on unrealized capital gains. In other words, the appraisers are going to make a lot of money, which will soon be applied to small business owners, and you will be forced to sell your restaurant immediately, and the new owner won't do the job in this restaurant.
But then in a moment we reached out to Irony for comment. Trump complained about Kamala Harris lying. Yes, really.
Like last night, the speech, she made 26 different things that were lies. She lied, but that's okay because a lot of people lie. They'll do anything to get elected, but she lied.
The man who keeps Daniel Dale at CNN in a job is complaining that somebody else lies.
They're also false. You know, he said that Vice President Harris has only turned black a couple years ago, and before that, she was only promoting her Indian heritage. That is just not true. I've quickly, just via Google, and with the help of CNN's K-File team, Andrew Kaczynski and M. Steck, found multiple examples of her talking about her Black identity going back decades. Her biography on the official website of the San Francisco District Attorney page identified her as an African-American woman. I found an article in Politico that quoted her talking about her Black identity and speaking out against anti-Black racism in 1989 as a law student.
So as even the likes of Fox News can help but admit, he is in a state of panic as a result of this monumental shift in momentum. So as a result, he's bringing out all the hits: migrant crime, crowd size projection, and his latest, nobody really knows who she is. Sure, mate, these crowds are just AI, I assume. Oh wait, he actually did say that.
We're going to let you keep 100% of your tip income and not be harassed. And just so you understand, the other side, Kamala, have you ever heard of her? Kamala? Nobody ever heard of her before.
Vegas, and the evidence of how well she did was in cold hard facts. In ratings, Trump's favorite thing, 22% up from Donald Trump's acceptance speech. 7.2 million raised between 11 p.m. and midnight over the course of the entire week. Act Blue says over $100 million came in for Democratic candidates, organizations. There was a panel of undecided Pennsylvania voters, a focus group, 8 of them in there. 6, after watching the speech, are now going with Kamala Harris. Those are all hard facts that show that she did a really good job. We know about the enthusiasm being up. We know about the polls going in her direction.
But listen, just because the wheels appear to be falling off, it doesn't mean we should get complacent. As Kamala Harris said last night, you may be a deeply unserious person, but the consequences of a second Trump presidency are very serious and terrifying.
Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. Consider not only the chaos and calamity when he was in office, but also the gravity of what has happened since he lost the last election. Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes. When he failed, he sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol where they assaulted law enforcement officers. When politicians in his own party begged him to call off the mob and send help, he did the opposite. He fanned the flames. And now, for an entirely different set of crimes, he was found guilty of fraud by a jury of everyday Americans and separately found liable for committing sexual abuse. And consider what he intends to do if we give him power again. Consider his explicit intent to set free violent extremists who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol. His explicit intent to jail journalists, political opponents, and anyone he sees as the enemy. His explicit intent to deploy our active duty military against our own citizens. Consider the power he will have, especially after the United States Supreme Court just ruled that he would be immune from criminal prosecution. Just imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails, and how he would use the immense powers of the presidency of the United States, not to improve your life, not to strengthen our national security, but to serve the only client he has ever had, himself.
And while he's not exactly saying anything we haven't heard before, he's just doubling down on the bigotry. What his team are putting in place behind the scenes needs our attention also. As Rachel Maddow outlined in a must-see segment, they're already implementing plans to steal this election, hence the whole "we don't need votes" comment.
Positive way. This is a very positive thing, Marjorie. They're on fire. They're doing a great job. 3 members. Janice Johnson, Rick Jeffries, and Janelle King. 3 people are all pit bulls fighting for honesty, transparency, and victory. They're fighting. Are they here? Where are they?
It's not about fighting socialism or communism or Marxist whatever. It's not about America first. It's not about some deep state that needs to be uprooted. It's about wanting our system of government to go away. It's about creating a sense of emergency, a sense of an enemy within, so that the public at large can be pushed and persuaded into giving up this system of government and just letting their guy, their real man, their strong man take over. And when that is what you are up against, no, do not be surprised when it turns out they're not going to respect election results, because they don't want elections to be the way we decide things anyway. Trump is now telling his supporters, you will never have to vote again. He's also, even more frequently, telling his supporters that he doesn't even need them to vote for him this time. He doesn't need their votes. Why does he not need their votes? Because he apparently thinks he can get back into power without them. Republicans really have stacked election boards in all of the swing states with dozens of officials who are bent on not allowing the certification of the vote totals in their counties and thereby, hopefully, messing up the certification of the vote totals in their states. It is happening. And yes, Kamala Harris on the Democratic side, she really is running a juggernaut of a campaign. It is going to get turbocharged all the more tomorrow when she announces her running mate. But on the Republican side, they are doing something entirely different, which is not about winning the most votes. It is about stopping the votes from being counted.
So, in the words of Michelle Obama, let's not just sit around and complain. Let's do something. Vote.
Real quick, Meta just changed their algorithm to suppress political content. Please follow our Instagram at MeidasTouch right now as we head towards 400,000 followers so you don't miss a beat.